All right. I'm going to go ahead and push the run button and then get us to this incredibly stylish intro. Hi, Phoebe. Hi, Frenetic. Yes, got a real bad case of the stabs, unfortunately. Hey there, I'm afraid the murder's already happened. We're not gonna do any murdering. I'm just gonna figure out who beat us to it, I guess. Hey there, and yes, Jed Gregory is the name, isn't it? This intro really is going for it. So this is part of a really, hey Lila, really long-running series of murder mystery games that got their start on Japanese home computers. I think this is originally like a PC-88 game or something like that. Came out on MSX and PC-98 and pretty much everything. This is the version for the TurboGrafx CD or the PC Engine CD, which has pretty much the same gameplay as the original, but fancier artwork, some CD music, uh, lots of stuff like that. So this is very, very old school as far as this kind of murder mystery game goes. Really influential on a lot of later stuff like uh, Phoenix Wright and Famicom Detective Club, AI, Somnium Files, and all that kind of stuff. It's all built on what these kinds of games were doing. Uh, a few of these came out in English, starting with this one. The Turbo CD version is the first one that we got in English. Then later on, Manhattan Requiem and Blue Chicago Blues came out in English on the Laser Active, this really weird Laserdisc game system. I'm hoping to get Laserdisc playback working on my Laser Active again, because then I'll stream Manhattan Requiem later. Yeah, this is an official localization.
Was found. 8:05 a.m. on the 9th. Location: the parking lot near the back entrance of Hoolington College, a suburb of Liberty. Victim: Bill Robbins, 34, president of Robbins Trading Company Limited.
Oh, that is some crunchy voice acting right there.
Blood loss caused by multiple stab wounds to the back. Weapon: sharp object. Approximate time of death: 1 a.m. on the 8th. Thorough investigation is being conducted. Many problems are anticipated.
And yeah, Lila, I streamed Blue Chicago Blues a few years back, which is the third in the series to come out in English on the Laser Active. For some reason, that's the only version that ever came out in English. It came out for a bunch of other systems later, but those ones didn't get localized. And yeah, Foxhack, this there is an English phone version, not of this one, but Manhattan Requiem is on iPhone and Switch in English. It's using the translation from the Laser Active version, but different artwork and music from the Laser Active version. For some reason, they never used this translation to port Murder Club to anywhere, even though they have done, like, there's a phone port, a DS version, but Manhattan Requiem's the only one they decided to go for. Yeah, many problems are anticipated is a fantastic phrase, isn't it? You know, if anyone can solve this case, you're the one. Thank you, Catherine. I appreciate your believing in me. So this menu here is going to be our home for the next while. This is really freeform, maybe a little more freeform than you might expect from a lot of modern mystery games that tend to hit you up with a lot of cutscenes establishing characterization and whatnot ahead of time. Here it's just like, nope, we're heading straight to it. We are out on the murder. A bunch of these menus are not actually going to do anything for us yet because they are based on us going through and having collected evidence already. So for example, if I went to the prosecution and tried to pull up warrant for interrogation or arrest, they're just going to laugh me out of the room because we haven't spoken to a single person yet. So that being the case, we might as well go out and hit the road in search of some leads. This great little 8-bit, 16-bit feeling map over here. And some nice jaunty little chiptunes. Very jazzy little chip sound here. So the identification here, we can go in and give the lab some evidence and other kinds of things to help us build on our clues. But of course, we have collected literally no evidence yet. Yes, the stock photo people are great. I appreciate the energy of, like, they really had very low color depths they were working with here, but they wanted to use photos as a base anyway. So everyone's kind of this little monochrome photo person. Catherine, I've been on the case for 5 minutes. I'm not, in fact, close to putting a lid on the case. I also can't interrogate anyone yet, so I'm going to go around, see where else we can go out here. It's interesting they give us this very free map to look around in, even though it's all just picking things from the menu. Manhattan Requiem and Blue Chicago Blues are more traditionally menu-based on their map screens, where they just have you pick a name from a list of names. Hi, Haley. So maybe let's start out with the record room, which smells musty. Do you know what? Musty sounds like mystery. So we can look record or we can return cop room. Again, some fantastic sentences here. So if we examine the cases here, this is not even the case we're supposed to be solving. Miss Sarah Shields. It's a name that'll be a little familiar if you played Manhattan Requiem. Jeez. Let's take a look at the stolen goods cases. Now, someone stole a car. White Ford, 1986 model. Reported stolen by the Robbins Trading Company. Well, that's the guy who got murdered, so that could be Jermaine, or he could just be a real rich guy everyone's decided is a mark. Location of theft, parking lot of the Robbins Trading Company. The lock must have been broken. The car stolen from the parking lot. Object stolen, wristwatch, Japanese make. Reported stolen by the Grand Hotel, manager Robert Osborne. Location of theft unknown. Watch disappeared from the personal effects of a hotel guest. Well, the location doesn't sound like much of a mystery. Mystery. That sounds to me like it happened at the hotel, right? Someone stole a butcher knife. Reported stolen by Bigger's store, owned by Danny Biggers. Location of theft inside the store. Stolen from a location rack. I like that the police are actually care enough to track down a single stolen knife in this universe. Police are being a lot more useful around here. See if that's added anything. No, not yet. Wonder if we can... Nope, that's not any evidence. We can't ask for any verification either. So let's try the interrogation room. An uncomfortable air pervades the interrogation room. Perhaps call a suspect, but no, you have to have actually arrested the suspect. Yeah, the implication that I'm working very hard despite having 0 leads and having spent 5 minutes reading records. I'm going to briefly take a look at these cases again. No, I did read that one. Stolen goods are the same ones we looked at earlier. So, how about... believe in that case. Has that opened any new leads here? Aha! That's what it's about. If I hit select, I can go to different places. That was what I was missing. Well, in that case, there's a few different things we can try here. So let's start at the Robbins Company, which is the trading company that the victim used to run. An employee comes out and asks, "How can I help you?" Oh, thank you, Jeb. Let's take a look. Inside the office, the employees are going about their business as usual, as though nothing happened and their boss was not murdered. If it's about the deceased CEO, you should ask the president. He's in the back. The employee leads you to the president's office. Oh man, so many questions. President glares at you. What is it? What is your name? Edward Robbins. Well, that's interesting. Didn't we hear? President of the Robbins Trading Company. 2 sons and a daughter. Appreciate, like in all Japanese games, you can ask blood type, but because this one's set in the US, he has no idea what the hell we're talking about. Work is my hobby. You need to get a hobby, man. You really need to get a hobby. It's a private pilot's license with over 4,000 hours. I thought you said you didn't have a hobby. Having a private pilot's license is a hobby, man. Your native place is he was born and raised here. And he's also the managing director of the local chamber of commerce. Fair enough. Well, he doesn't want to talk about his murdered son. I suppose I can understand that, but it would be nice if he would give us a hand solving this. Now that Bill's gone, Fred is out of the Robbins family business. Better shape up or we're in big trouble. Ooh, I like that. We got some tension going on here. Sounds like Fred hasn't been keeping up his side of the deal here. Kate, the daughter, doesn't have much to say about her. Oh wait, not the daughter. That must be spouse, maybe. Right. Janet is the daughter. Oh no, maybe that's Bill's wife, right. Simon Randall, the family doctor. What does he have to say about anything, I wonder? I don't know him. Fair enough. And he's never heard of Sarah Shields? Yep. Just another lousy writer who can't sell any books. I think his work has bad influence in the younger generation. That's brutal, man. That is absolutely brutal. Oh, hey, Salfenic. Well, let's ask about his alibi. Went to James McBain's place. Came home around 11 and went straight to bed. Please catch whoever did it. Well, I'm trying. What about James McBain? Not much to say about him. Can we ask about Shelley? Oh, Shelley's taking the day off. Well, we should ask the secretary then, but we won't be talking to her today. We'll have to talk to her on the next in-game day. So that being the case, we can head out because it doesn't seem that there's anyone else for us to talk to. So let's get back on the trail and find somewhere else. Now, is there anything going on with the Hotel Grand and that stolen watch? Sounds to me like it's not going to be especially related to the crime going on here, but you never know. A minute to stare at the luxurious hotel. The front of the building is all windows. It is nice, isn't it? Holy crap, that's a lobby. My goodness. And again, the digitized photo look here and the very small number of colors is a really cute look. I like it. This is Robert Osborne, who I seem to recall Kenwood. He seems to be the one who reported the missing watch. But whose watch was it? Really? Mr. Robbins came here on the night he was murdered. Also, very interesting that this hotel clerk just happens to know that he died. We prepared a room with a king-size bed for him. Yeah, he does have kind of a Vincent Price sort of look, doesn't he? I wonder how many of these were referenced off of actors or what have you. Sarah used to play piano in the bar, huh? It's interesting. Starting to think these crimes might be connected. Night of the murder, he was here, working all night. Manuel Barkley, huh? What about this watch? Oh, the watch was a false alarm. They ended up finding it. Interesting. So who's this Manuel Barkley? 3 weeks at a hotel this fancy. Guy must be loaded. And yeah, Jeb, I know that the laser active version of Manhattan Requiem used photos of actors they'd hired for it as their bases here, but since these ones are illustrations, I wonder if they were referenced off of photos they'd found instead of something they took. You're right, Jeb. You're the real JB. Go other place. To another place. Can we go to his room? Oh, who's this guy? Oh, it's Manuel Barkley. Okay, but why are we talking to him? I mean, I don't mind talking to him. He's been here for a while, apparently. I just travel wherever I feel like going. In a fancy hotel for 3 weeks. Oh, goodness. Born in Brazil, okay. So only read about Bill in the newspaper. And seem to have heard of most of our people. Alright, he doesn't know pretty much anything. Yeah, it seems suspicious, Jeb, that he could make enough money to support himself in here at the track. I have nothing to tell the police. For the 10th time, I'm just a tourist. Well, we're not the only ones who's been interrogating him, huh? Well, when I saw a guest room, I was hoping we'd have the chance to go and check the room where our victim was staying, but it looks like we're not going to have that luck, so we might as well head back on the trail and find someone else. And take a look over here at Mr. Baskin-Robbins' house. It's clearly an expensive house, but it's a photo of kind of just a normal-looking house. Fair enough. Oops. I didn't mean to leave, I meant to enter. Let's take a look inside. Can I help you? As the man who comes to the door. A man who seems to be... He's... that... Got some very strong 80s energy here. Okay, brother of the deceased. The HH Company, so he's not in the family business. He knows his blood type for some reason. tennis player and marksman. Born here in Liberty City. Yeah, the Hulk Hogan Company. By the way, with the name of the town, I appreciate that this first game, they, for some reason, wanted to put it in a fictional place, Liberty Town, but they switched it up for actual American cities for all of the other games. So let's start asking about... Ooh, got some bad blood between him and his father, huh? Gets along well with his sister, though. Carringtons. Oh man, poor woman. He only knows Shelley is the secretary. What about... He went to a movie. It ended about 11 and he went right home. What theater? The Gaslight Theater. Oh, are we being gaslit right now? Is that what's happening here? White Hawk Club, the horse riding club. Okay, so maybe that's where our other guy has been going to. Hadn't talked to Bill in a while. He hasn't heard about our other crimes. There's no one else around to call, so... Might as well move on for the time being. Just gonna start by making the rounds of the different places until we start to build kind of a mental model of where we're going and what kinds of locations might be relevant to us here. Yeah, he's never held a knife in his life. You're completely right, Haley, saying the Gaslight Theater is like Ace Attorney Witnesses being called I'm the Murderer. Well, let's go get gaslit. A rundown theater on a busy corner. See, I thought that guy was rich. He's going to a little rundown theater. That seems a little sketch. Let's take a look inside. Can I help you? Hello. Hi. What is your name? Daisy Ornest. Appreciate that we've got a little bit of Gundam name syndrome going on here. Oh, this is McBain's Theater, right. The family friend. Jazz dance instructor card. How fancy is that? Born here in Liberty, I'm just a simple small-town girl. So... She's only read about our case in the paper. But what about... She doesn't know the brothers, which makes sense. I suppose you wouldn't know every single person who walks through these doors. Now that's interesting. She's heard of Sarah Shields before. So she's in a social circles with the victim of the other case. Ah, and Mr. McBain lives near the college. Okay. Some useful information. Alright, well this writer sounds a bit sketchy, but at least someone knows about him. Oh dear. Well, that gave us a little bit of info, but not much. Certainly doesn't feel like we got gaslit here. Maybe let's head over to the HH Company. Headed by Tony Holding. One of the posters seems to be staring straight at me. This is where the brother works. Shown into a large office. Okay, this one has got to be based on a photo. That look is very something. Michael Holding. I love that this is a holding company, but not like a holding company. It's just run by someone named Holding. Right, so it's father Tony Holding runs it. Leave the mowing of the lawn to me. Oh, I will, Mr. Holding. I'll give you a call the next time I need my lawn mowed. From Ohio. I keep hearing people talk about this White Hawk Club. I have a feeling that one's going to come up somewhere. So he knows the victim. Of course, that's why. The daughter, the Robin's daughter married this guy. That's the connection. That's why he knows Bill. Oh, they only got married 6 months ago. Jeez, that's sad. Simon Randall has a clinic near your house. Almost no contact. What about your alibi? As soon as he finishes work, he always goes straight home. Now that's a good work ethic. But this White Hawk Club, horse riding club. Bill used to be president. We were going to call it the Red Rum Club, but we didn't want people to confuse it with the old Red Tie Club. The Red Rum Club, huh? Excuse me. Bill claiming he knows who did assaulted Sarah Shields? Well, these cases are definitely related then. Yeah, that's an alibi of I don't have an alibi, basically, isn't it, Jeb? There's no one else around. Well, might as well move on for the time being, continue exploring. What is this hungry fisherman? You arrive at the cafe where the victim was last seen. Ah, this photo background again. Near the Liberty River. Oh, it's you, Inspector. Anything I can do for you? Paul Davis. Hungry fisherman, because he's a fisherman and he's hungry, I suppose. Degree from the Roberts School of Cuisine. From New Orleans. The Association of Restaurant Owners. Bill was in a very good mood that night. But he was all alone. Interesting. Alright, so some really bad blood between the victim and his father. Before Janet and Bill got married, they used to come here together quite often. Before they got married. Did they stop coming here together after they got married? That's interesting. Oh, so Sarah Shields works for this business. Again, feeling very connected here. Still seems suspicious to me that this McBain guy is so wealthy when he just owns a very rundown theater. I feel like there must be some other business dealings going on. Saw Stanley in front of the restaurant. Interesting. Okay, Sarah's here. Don't like to talk with cops. You know what? That is entirely fair. Oh, hey, moral recording. Bill's murder shows you can't predict anyone's fate. Came here alone, but he often came with a woman with long blonde hair. Now, is that his wife or is that someone else? She knows Janet, gentle person who wouldn't hurt a fly. Interesting. So she has bad blood with Janet. I wonder what that's about. Owns the Gaslight Theater. Easy to recognize because he always has a big cigar sticking out of his mouth. Saw Mr. McBain near the college when he was going home from work the night of the murder. He'd be coming from the church. Interesting. Something is going on with Stanley. That's interesting. Manuel Barkley is the only person she's had something complicated to say about not knowing them. Restaurant all evening, left about 2 in the morning. Bill mumbling Liberty something or other. Okay. So, wonder what Bill was up to. I think we've said enough to him right now. I'm not going to put Sarah through talking about the assault unless we absolutely have to for a little while. So, where did Bill go after here? Could be the Liberty Bank. But why would he be at the bank that late at night? Oh, this guy's definitely a bank president. He is such a bank president. Gregory Raymond. Of course he likes to play golf. Well, he's definitely worked with Bill before. Young but highly skilled. Now, only a few days ago, the construction of his company's new parking lot was completed. That is a weirdly specific detail. Michael Holding, a serious young man, but I don't think he has what it takes to run a corporation. That is harsh, but possibly fair. keep hearing people bring up the doctor. Ought to go to that next. That would be the blonde woman that they were talking about at the restaurant, the secretary. Was Bill having an affair? Since here the day it happened, I was in New York on business. Ooh, the HH company is in trouble. See, I thought you didn't have any business with the police, and now you're here blabbing about your customers? I'm sure your customers would be very happy to hear that. Heard that Mr. Holding has turned to some questionable sources for monetary support. Ooh. Snowy white marble stairs. Well, we haven't gotten any indication yet that that is the specific place that Bill went to on the night he was murdered. He went to somewhere, but I wonder if it was that. Now, I know we've been to Bill's house. Did we make it to... No, we haven't been to the Edward Robbins house. Now, that one looks like a proper mansion. Guess the 20 people could live there comfortably. Yeah, that's fair. Don't just stand there smoking that stinking cigarette. Go out and find the murderer. Pamela Smith, the housekeeper. Alright. I tell fortunes. Some month ago, the cars told me that something terrible would happen to Bill. Hey, triplicate. Qualified midwife and a fortune teller and a housekeeper. Does a lot. My little Fred is so bright and kind and good. The Robbins Trading Company will be doing even better business once he takes over. Okay, well, she likes Kate but hates her husband. Fair enough. Ooh. Does everything his pushy mother tells him to do. Hello, Distracted MOSFET. She really does not like the Holdings. Okay, the Randall Clinic is nearby. You probably know whose fault it was that her little sister died. What is that about? Okay. Manuel came to see Bill. That's interesting. Hey, Shazzy. Yeah, I appreciate that this is a game with a holding company which is run by someone named Mr. Holding. Home all night? Ooh, the night of the murder, she called Janet. She was sobbing and barely coherent, but kept insisting everything was okay. That's interesting. Well, few bits of information from that one, huh? How about the Randall Clinic next? Seems like a reasonably fancy building here. What can I do for you? Simon Randall, 58 years old, who collects art. He's a practicing doctor. That's certainly a skill. It is, isn't it? From Boston. Everyone seems to hate Tony. Everyone's understandably worried about Janet. That's some interesting gossip about Stanley Howard here. I wonder what that's about. Why were you at your clinic until 1 a.m.? That is some serious workaholism right there. The wound was quite shallow. If I were to speculate, I'd say Bill was stabbed by a woman. Okay, that's a little bit sexist, but alright. Understandably, he's never heard of the Red Tie Club, just like everyone else. Hit the trail again. I'm going to briefly head back to the police office just to save our game. Figure it's always good to do that periodically just to be safe. And we get some really nice live jazz in the process. All right. Saved in slot 1. I really appreciate this little analysis screen here, by the way, which is a helpful way to visualize everything that's going on. Yeah, it's fantastic ambiance for the save screen, right? So it looks like at this point we've met maybe half the cast or so. Oh, right, we can switch the game language here if we want. Leave the text and narration both in English.
You mean to tell me that you don't know who the murderer is yet? You know, if you keep working at this pace, people are going to lose confidence in you.
That's brutal, man. I've been on this case for like an hour.
Knocking down our doors.
I can't remember. Did we make it to the Holdings house yet? No, I think we were at the company. Lawn is lovingly maintained.
What can I do for you? I'm glad you're on the case.
I had no idea there was voice acting. It's off by default? That's an interesting choice. Would people prefer this with voice acting on or off?
Kate Holden. I'm 24 years old. I'm a computer consultant. My blood type is A. I live with my husband Michael and his parents. I enjoy sewing. At the moment, I'm making a quilt. I am proficient at both Basic and Fortran.
Oh, wonderful. Basic and Fortran, the two programming languages.
I was born in Liberty. I'm a member of the Anemone Club.
The Anemone Club? Now here's a club we haven't heard about yet.
It's a local women's group that my mother-in-law organized. We raise money for charity. I was at home the whole evening. Well, there The night Bill was murdered, I heard someone leave the house. I think it was around 10:30. I couldn't help but notice. Well, there is something. The night Bill was...
So someone who lives here left the house and possibly met up with the victim. Already had reason to be suspicious of the holdings, but this seems like it points to something.
I still can't believe anyone would murder Bill, although I knew there were some people who didn't like him.
So some people had something against him, huh?
He can be stubborn at times, but he's a good man and a good father. Unfortunately, he and Bill didn't get along. They kept getting into arguments over business. He works for the H.H. Company. I think he's met someone that he really cares for. He's been hinting that he may get married soon. He's not feeling well. He's upstairs resting.
So Tony is upstairs resting, huh? We should probably try calling him anyway.
He has his weaknesses, but he's a good man, and I love him. He's at the office today.
Now that is an interesting way to introduce your husband, lady.
Poor thing. It's been terrible for her. I wish there was something I could do to make her feel better. Dr. Randall is the Robbins family's doctor. Pamela's been with the family for as long as I can remember. She knows everything there is to know about the Robbins family. She used to work for my brother Bill. I've heard she lives by herself in an apartment near Hoolington College.
Okay, we need to hit up the college next to see if we can track down Shelley.
I don't know her. I can't place the name. He and my dad have been friends since they were kids. He's one of the few people my father actually relaxes around. I don't know him. I don't know him.
They've recorded 2 different takes of I Don't Know Him for the 2 different people. That's actually a really nice touch. Oh no, that is a face.
Oh, you want to talk to me? Tony Holding. I'm president of the H.H. Company. Hobby? What sort of question is that? I like to listen to classical music and nurse a good brandy. I've got a pilot's license.
Can't believe there's more than one private pilot in this game.
I was born in Ohio. I've lived here almost 15 years. I'm a member of the Chamber of Commerce. I was home all that night. I didn't go anywhere.
So is he the one who left that night, or was it someone else?
I hate to say this, but Bill really flaunted his extramarital affairs.
So he
Wonder if
was
it had
having an
something to
affair.
do with his death. What's that? We're going through a difficult time, but the management is stable.
Sure, sounds convincing.
What a waste. He was brilliant. Quite a businessman. Edward Robbins is a remarkable man. He's contributed more to the business community than anyone in town. He works for me. Nice, cheerful, hard-working, but he doesn't have his brother's business sense. She's very kind and considerate. She even manages to get along with that nagging wife of mine, which is no small feat.
Real winner here.
It may be because his mother spoiled him, but he has no motivation. It would make me happy if he just got his act together.
Come on, man.
I don't know Janet well. People say that he's a very good doctor. I have trouble dealing with her. I never know what to say. She used to be Bill's secretary. They were always together. I don't know him. I don't know her. He's the owner of the Gaslight Movie Theater. He's a very good businessman. He's the owner of... I've never met him. I don't know him.
What is it?
A lot of people in this one location here.
Lucille Poe. I'm the chairman of the board of the H.H. Company. Imagine asking about my age. How rude. If you must know, I'm 52 years old. I was feeling under the weather. There was a party the night before. You know how that is. I spent the entire evening in bed.
You know how that is.
It's probably beside the point, but I wasn't feeling well the night of the murder, so I called Dr. Randall's office. But nobody answered. Nobody was at his house either.
So that's interesting, because Dr. Randall says he was at his office until 1 a.m.
Yes, I think it was a club formed by mystery novel fanatics years ago, when I was young.
Yeah, Stomphenic, that's right. He did claim to be working late, and yet he wasn't apparently answering his phone, which seems suspicious.
It's a local women's charity organization. I'm the president. It was incredible. Just awful. I still can't believe that someone so close to us could be stabbed to death.
Oh, it really is shocking, isn't it?
He has a reputation for ruthlessness. More than one company doing business with him has been forced into bankruptcy.
Well, no wonder people don't get along with him.
Well, he's not my Michael, but he's a good, serious boy. On the surface, she's gentle and easygoing. But don't be fooled. She's one tough lady. He hasn't been feeling well since the murder took place. He doesn't seem to be getting much sleep at night either. I'm really worried about him.
That's interesting. Tony, what are you up to?
He's such a good boy, always thinking about his mother. Take the night of the murder. I was sick in bed and Michael never left my side.
Alright, so meanwhile, Michael's alibi is being confirmed.
I can remember Bill and Janet's wedding as if it were yesterday. Such a beautiful ceremony. And to think that now that sweet young bride's a widow. That doctor, he's one of a kind, always ready to lend a helping hand. You know, he took in the daughter of a friend of his who died.
Took in the daughter of a friend of his who died. See, I don't think Simon talked about that. That's interesting.
Oh, the Robbins family maid. She's a difficult woman. I don't know her. I don't know. I don't know her. He and Edward have been friends since they were children. I don't know him. I don't know him.
Well, I think that's enough questions over here for the time being. But it does feel like we have a good few leads from here. And a lot of locations to get to. I'm gonna try heading over to the college. Right, the body was found here. And that's not far from where his secretary lives.
Good to see you, Inspector. It's good to see you, officer. Morton Bradley.
Morton
I'm
Bradley.
50 years old. I am a security guard at Hoolington College. Fishing, working on my car. Can't think of any. I come from Bethesda, Maryland. I don't belong to any, sir. I had the night shift. I was finishing my rounds at about 2 in the morning when I noticed the car.
Interesting. So is he the one who discovered the body? Yes, he is.
I had a weird gut feeling, so I went to take a look inside. When I opened the car door, the body fell on me. Geez, was I surprised.
Yeah, I would be too.
Sorry, I don't know. Right about the time I found Mr. Robbins, I heard a car screeching off. I couldn't get a good look at it, but I'd say it was blue.
So we have a blue car we should be asking about. That's interesting.
That's the man whose corpse I discovered. I just opened the car door and he fell on me. I've never seen a dead man before. Gave me the shakes.
That's understandable.
The victim's father, big man around town, he came here to identify the body. Sorry, I don't know him. The victim's sister, she came here with her father after I discovered the body. I don't know him. Sorry, sir. I don't know her. I don't know him, sir. I don't know her, sir. He's the medical examiner who performed the autopsy.
Wait, the family doctor did the autopsy. That's interesting.
Sorry, I don't know her. I don't know her, sir. We fish together sometime. I don't know her, sir. I don't know him. I don't know him, sir. I don't know him, sir.
Ask about
Seems
that
Mr. Robbins
car.
was killed somewhere else and then dumped in that car. That's what the coroner was saying. Victim was a big man. I don't know if one person could handle that alone.
Hey, Carrie. Yeah, that's an interesting point. The idea that
See,
more than one person might have been involved in this. So it looks like we can also go straight to the scene of the crime. Thoroughly cleaned. You can see nothing that indicates such an incredibly brutal murder had been committed here. Light up the cigarette and take a look around. Can't find any clues and are tipped with any great inspiration. Nothing of any use in solving the case. Oof. Time to hit the trail again. Stanley Howard's apartment. Oops.
Who are you? What do you want? What's this all about? Stanley Howard. I'm a novelist. You must have heard of my books. Disco Inferno, Dancing with the Devil in the Pale Moonlight. Caused quite a stir when it came out.
Oh, that is a title. That is a real title.
I live by myself and I like it that way. I like to drive. It's how I relieve stress. The ability to meet my deadlines, no matter what I have to do to get the job done. I was born in New York, but I didn't like it. too noisy, too crowded. It's easier for me to write here. I've been living in Liberty for 3 years now.
Yeah, Carrie, it seems that the game is just that way. The voice volume is weirdly low.
I belong to the American Writers Guild. I didn't steal any car. Come on.
Well, that's not suspicious at all, huh?
A knife?
A knife?
I went to the Hungry Fisherman for a few drinks, and then I went straight home to my apartment.
Okay, so we should be asking about him over the Hungry Fisherman.
No, nothing in particular. I don't remember hearing about it. I have nothing to say that would be worth your time or mine. Yes, it's true that we've talked a couple of times over at the Hungry Fisherman, but that's about it.
Okay, but why exactly would a crime writer be talking to this businessman?
I've never even met him. I've met him a couple of times. I've run into her over at Bigger Store. She's really beautiful. Nah, I don't know him. She's a busybody, isn't she? And uncultured. I have no interest in loudmouth women with no understanding of literature. I don't know him. I don't know anything about her. I don't know him. Nah, I don't know her. I don't know her. That's the owner of the Hungry Fisherman. I think that Bill Robbins had a thing for her. He always went out of his way to be nice to her.
So Bill knew Sarah. That is interesting.
No, I don't know him. I don't know him. No, nothing in particular.
Well, that's another few useful clues. I'm going to try asking again about this guy now that we know a little about him.
Stanley is not a bad guy, but he has a tendency to get on people's nerves. He and Mr. Robbins were always fighting about something. What? Stanley left here around midnight the night Bill was killed.
Right. So that is consistent with Stanley's alibi, but he left alone.
He's always putting on an act. That's probably why he gets upset whenever somebody upstages him. I hate him. The night the murder took place, he was here, trying to pick a fight with Bill Robbins. I think he mentioned that he lives uptown.
So something happened between them the night of the murder.
His murder goes to show that you can't predict anyone's fate. The night he was killed, he came here alone. But he often came with a woman with long blonde hair. I drive a white Mustang.
Right, now we can ask everyone about their car, because we know that the car is related. Wines, liquors, and beers. It's everything you need in one store.
Welcome. How are you, sir? Danny Biggers. I own this store here. I have a wife, a daughter, and a son. I like to go fishing down at Liberty River. When me and the boys get together, there's no one who can beat me at 5-card stud. I was born in this town. Does a bowling league count?
Oh, tell me more about bowling, please.
I closed the store at 8 o'clock, as always, and did some scrubbing up. I was home by 9 o'clock. I closed. I drive a brown station wagon. Mystery novel fanatics, wasn't it? They wore red ties to their meetings for no reason I could figure out. Yes, it must have been 20 years ago.
I think I can actually accuse whoever I want whenever I want, but I'm pretty sure that I'll get a game over if I actually do that.
Yes. It disappeared 2 or 3 days before the murder. And when I heard that Bill Robbins was stabbed, I got real worried.
Seems like there's a decent chance that the knife that got stolen did it, but...
No, nothing out of the ordinary. Edward Robbins, oldest boy. I hate to speak ill of the dead, but he was the kind of man who wouldn't think twice about hurting others if he could profit from it.
Oof. Brutal.
He's a big man in this town. We went to high school together. He was top of his class, a real hard worker. Sorry, I don't know him. He's a regular. Comes in all the time, and she always has a smile on her face. Yes, he's the president of the H.H. Company.
Ah, I think you're onto something, Sophenik and Jeb. It's the old double knife technique. Knife stole a knife.
I don't know her very well. No, I don't know Kate's husband. Janet shops here sometimes. I always thought she looked kind of sad for a newlywed.
And that kind of supports the thing that Bill was cheating on her and she probably knew, huh? We haven't been able to track her down yet. Apparently she's still at her parents' place. Should see if we can track her down.
I went to him once for a medical examination. He's a really good doctor. That's the Robbins family housekeeper. No, I don't know her. The name doesn't ring a bell. Who? No, I don't know her. I just know that he owns the Gaslight movie theater. That's the struggling writer who lives in an apartment building down the street. He's always boasting about this and that, but never seems to be doing anything. I guess things are looking up for him, though. He's been buying like there's no tomorrow.
Also interesting. It's funny, I don't think anyone else has told us that he was a failing writer
That's the struggling writer who lives in an apartment.
before now, but that and the fact that he seems to have money all of a sudden seems related, especially because he was up to something with Bill, right?
I don't know him.
Well, he's the only one here, so I guess we'll have to move on again. Let's see. Describes it as a white concrete apartment complex, but that's not what the photo is.
Yes? Yes, what is it? Shelley McDonald.
She sounds really
I'm
frustrated
28
with
years
us.
old. I work for the Robbins Trading Company.
So
My parents died when I was young.
I have a feeling that Shelley here is going to have some really useful testimony for us.
I write sometimes, just for my own enjoyment. I type and take shorthand. I also have good organizational skills.
Sophenik, I'm not taking notes right now. I'm just sort of remembering the facts. We'll see if I regret that the next time I stream if I've forgotten everything, but...
I was born in upstate New York and came here 2 years ago. I belong to the Amateur Writing Society.
car is silver.
Silver car, so neither of the two cars involved in the incident.
I took the day off work and went shopping. At about 6 o'clock, I stopped by Big Burger and then headed home. That was my evening.
Oh, Big Burger. Home of the Big Burger.
Probably unrelated. But about a week before Bill was killed, a man I'd never seen before came by the office looking for him. After Bill talked to him, he seemed really distracted.
I wonder who this person she doesn't know is.
It was a shock. One day he's here and the next he's gone. He's a tremendously demanding man. In fact, he expects work to get done at any cost.
Ah, don't we all need a Big Burger, Jeff? Big Burger is one of the core needs of life. It's at the very bottom of Maslow's hierarchy of needs, one of the most basic ones.
I don't think that he and Bill got along very well. I've run into her a few times. I don't really know her, but she seems nice. He's come by the office a few times to see Bill. No,
Hey,
I
H.
don't
Monk.
know why.
Yeah, this is fully voice acted in both English and Japanese, actually. The voice acting is off by default, but you can go into the menus and set it to either voice language. It's also bilingual, but the text. This is the North American release of the game, but you can switch it between Japanese or English text. For some reason, they did that with a bunch of their other ones, too. I own 2 later games in the series on Laseractive, and both of those I have the Japanese versions, but you can switch them to English if you want. And the Switch version of Manhattan Requiem that's out is only in the Japanese store, but it has English text for some reason. I have no idea why they wouldn't sell it over here if they went to the trouble of putting the script in.
Sorry, I've never spoken with her. We used to get together with Bill to plan White Hawk Club meetings.
All right, we clearly have to get to the bottom of this White Hawk Club business.
I wouldn't want to switch places with her. What a miserable thing to happen. It's not fair, is it? He's the Robbins family physician and a friend of Edward Robbins. She works for the Robbins family. I don't know him. I don't know her. He's a friend of Edward Robbins. He owns the Gaslight Movie Theater. He has a bad reputation with the Amateur Writers Society. He's conceited, but it's not just that. Apparently, he was involved in some shady deals in New York.
Ooh, shady dealings with the writer. What kind of shit was he up to, I wonder?
Oh, him. He's called the office to talk to Bill.
So, okay, Bill definitely knew Manuel. Something's up with this guy.
Probably unrelated. But about a week before Bill...
Definitely some useful information there. Wonder if that's enough information to... Ooh, the Big Burger. Let's go to Big Burger. Oh, they actually painted the sign to read Big Burger. A back alley hamburger joint. My kind of place.
Hi there. How about trying our amazing new triple cheeseburger? Or perhaps a tasty chocolate popper for dessert?
Oh, tell me more about the chocolate popper.
Like, what do you want to talk to me for? Nick Goodman. Totally cool name, huh?
Yeah, man, definitely.
I'm 20 years old. I'm like in college. I only work here part-time. I live with my parents and my older sister.
Yeah, moral recordings. I think the scenes are definitely digitized stock photos. It looks like they've painted over a couple of details here and there, like they painted the sign here, touched it up in pixel art so that it reads Big Burger, but otherwise. Yeah, Jeb, there's kind of a mismatch between the descriptions and the places sometimes, huh? The original computer version had more in the way of pixel art backgrounds, so these backgrounds are completely new in this version.
They were renovating this place the day that dude got killed, so I got off around 3. I picked up Daisy and Ralph later on, and the 3 of us went for a cruise downtown. I got home before midnight.
No idea who any of those people are, but good for you.
Yeah, wait a minute. I remember Ralph saying that he had something to do. We dropped him off around 10 near school.
Well, that's interesting.
I drive an orange Fiesta. I never heard of it.
Tell me about this Ralph guy. Don't see Ralph in the list, interestingly.
You mean the dead guy? Yeah, I knew Janet, his old lady. Like,
Wait, how do you know
she called
Janet?
the SWAT team to catch the lowlife who killed him. I don't know him. Yeah, I know her. She's my friend Ralph's sister.
Oh, so that's the relationship. Okay. So when we find Janet, we're gonna find Ralph.
Never heard of the dude. I don't know her. Yeah, he's the president of the HH company. That company is really bogus.
That company's
his friend
really
doing welfare
bogus.
Part-time, you know? And he was complaining that he totally had problems getting his dinero.
Totally had problems getting his dinero.
I don't know her. I don't know him. Yeah, No, I don't know him. I don't know her. Who? He owns this cafe that I go to, the Hungry Fisherman. She's a babe. She's way mysterious, and I totally like that. I bet a lot of the customers go there just to check her out.
She's way mysterious.
I think he owns the movie theater where my girlfriend Daisy works part-time. The old guy always has a cigar in his mouth. He acts like a jerk.
Okay, right. So when we talked to Daisy earlier, that's his girlfriend, huh? Gotta track down James. Everyone has something to say about him.
I've seen him a couple of times over at the Hungry Fisherman. He's always bragging about something, always telling people that he's just got himself some fantastic contract. From what I've heard, he can barely sell any books. Sorry, dude. I don't know him.
There's no one else around. Leave the restaurant, feeling a bit hungry. Okay, good. And Big Burger's in our list of places now. Oh, that is a big house.
What do you want?
Oh, he really does have a giant cigar.
Go away. James McBain. I'm 56 years old. I own a movie theater.
I own a movie theater.
I have no family.
I have no family. Wow, man.
The day I quit smoking cigars is the day I die.
He really does look like Groucho, doesn't he?
There's so many of them, they'd be tough to list. I was born in good old Liberty. I'm a member of the Chamber of Commerce. The night Bill was murdered, I met Edward and we had a few drinks. That's it. The whole story.
The whole story, huh?
It's none of my business, but I'll tell you what I know. You must have heard about Bill having affairs. Well, he was fooling around a lot.
Yeah, everyone has something to say about that, don't they?
What's it got to do with me? Business at the movie theater is going great. Wonderful. Couldn't be better.
Glad to hear it, man. You sound very convincing.
He was a sharp young man. It's no surprise that he had a lot of enemies. Edward and I have known each other since we were in school together. He's next in line for Bill's job. I don't know. He seems nice enough. There's a rumor going around that the H.H. Company is in big trouble.
Yeah, I keep hearing that. Everyone seems to know.
Don't know the lady. What I've heard, he's a hopeless businessman, but he's got his good points. He sure loves that wife of his. She's had a tough break, poor kid, but she's young. She'll get over it. He's a friend of mine. She's the Robbins family's maid or housekeeper or something. She used to be Bill's secretary. I don't know him. Sorry, I don't know her. Who the hell is that?
Oh my god! They dropped that from the script. Did the actor ad-lib that?
Who the hell is that?
They beeped hell? Incredible!
I've never met him.
Interesting that we can't ask him about his car. Right. So this is where we should meet the widow. We are in typical suburbia.
Come in, Officer Harold. Thank you for your effort. How can I be of help? Martha Carrington. I'm 45 years old. I'm a freelance interior designer.
Freelance interior designer. I didn't realize that was a
Val,
career.
And my daughter, Janet. Gardening. I have a magnificent rose garden. I have some artistic ability. I was born in Boston. I've been living here for 5 years now. I don't belong to any club. I was home all evening. My husband came in at about 11 o'clock. That's the charity organization that Mrs. Holding chairs. No, it doesn't mean anything to me. No, nothing at all. What can you say about a tragedy like that? He's a kind man, even though he's suffering through his own loss. He's shown such concern for Janet's welfare. Bill's brother?
So you don't know Bill's brother at all, huh?
She's a thoughtful woman. She helped with so many of Janet's wedding arrangements. What can you...
So she doesn't have anything to say about Bill's affairs. Maybe she hadn't figured it out.
I don't know much about him. She asked me to get involved with the Anemone Club. It seems like a fine organization, but honestly, I'm uncomfortable in groups. I didn't join. She asked... I've never even talked to him. He's working today. My husband operates the home estate agency downtown.
Home estate agency. Well, we should pay a visit then.
After Bill was killed, Janet came home. She needs the support of her family now. I just wish there were more we could do for her. It breaks my heart to see her suffering this way. I don't know him. She's been very kind and taken Janet under her wing. Apparently, Janet's learned a lot about the Robbins family from her. I've never met her. I don't know him. I don't know her. I don't know him. Sorry. Who?
Right, so she kind of doesn't know much. Anyone else here? Ah, there we go. Talk to Janet herself.
What? Janet Robbins. I'm 21. Before I got married, I worked for my father. Things I like to do? At the moment, there aren't any.
Oof, that's rough.
None.
Oh dear.
I was born in Boston. I belong to the Anemone Club.
So she did join the Anemone Club, huh?
What do you mean? What sort of thing? I joined because Kate asked me to. A knife? I don't know anything about a knife. I was home all that night. I tried to wait up for Bill, but I must have dozed off. I was woken up by a phone call from the police telling me that my husband had been murdered.
So she doesn't have a specific alibi that anyone can vouch for if she was alone.
I don't know her. She used to be Bill's secretary. That's all I know.
Well, he was seen everywhere with Shelley, so I have a suspicion you know more than you're letting on.
Now. I just can't handle it. She's a wonderful mother. Even his own son's murder wasn't enough to make my father-in-law shed a tear. All he cares about is this stupid company. He's nice. I like him. I don't know. What are you trying to get from me?
That's very defensive.
Kate is always looking after me. He makes my stomach turn. She's always saying bad things about Kate. I hate it, but I don't know what to do about it.
Yeah, moral recordings, I think she's probably involved at a minimum.
We never really got together much. Why? My father was terribly upset when Bill and I decided to get married. He opposed it all the way.
It's also interesting.
I've met him. I don't know. She only loves Fred. She only cares what happens to him. She hated Bill. She's probably glad he's dead. She used to be Bill's secretary. I don't know him. I don't know her. He's a friend of my father-in-law's. I don't know him. I can't help you. I really want to lie down.
That, to me, feels like an evasion. I think she knows something about Stanley.
I don't know him. I met Bill at my father's office. He was so handsome and nice and mature. Before I knew it, I was in love with him. I was so sure we'd be together forever.
Yeah, she really has the fainting couch routine going on here. Okay, this one's definitely a digitized photo.
Yeah? What's up? Ralph Carrington. I'm 21 years old.
Right, he's friends with the burger shop guy, and he's the one who left early.
I go to Hoolington College. AB. I don't know. I like doing lots of things. I'm a great third baseman. I play for Hoolington College. I was born in Boston. I belong to the school psych club. We study criminal behavior.
The school psych club, huh?
Why are you asking me this? I didn't do anything. I went out with my friends and I got home pretty late. I don't have a car. I always ride a bike. No. I don't know anything about that. To be honest, I hated his guts. The guy was a dirtbag. Still, I wouldn't wish death on anyone.
Yeah, that's fair. You knew how he was treating your sister.
My mom is really worried about me. She's afraid she'll never pull herself back together. I've barely talked with the guy. What are you asking me for? I've barely talked to him. I don't know her well. Never talked to him. She's an old gossip. I don't know him, but he looks like a real loser.
Ooh, brutal.
He's kind of a recluse. Not too good with most people, but he's been great to me and Janet. My sister's in lousy shape. She's cracking up, and I don't want to talk about her, okay? I don't know him. She didn't like Bill at all. Not that I blame her. Fred has always been her little darling. I bet she's thrilled that he's going to be head of the company now. She used to be Bill's secretary. She's a very reliable, bright woman, and nice, too. And working for a jerk like that.
See, I wasn't expecting him to like Shelley at all, given how often she was seen with Bill, but apparently he thinks she's alright. That's interesting.
He's the owner of the Hungry Fisherman. She plays the piano over at the Hungry Fisherman, right? Never met him. Don't know him. Don't know him.
Well, I think that's everyone we've seen here, but we definitely got some interesting info out of this one. I've already been to McBain's house. And Shelley's apartment. But someone was spotted at the church, right? This is pretty close to the, oops. Get back in there. There we are. This is pretty close to the college, so not that far from the scene of the crime, I think.
You just missed the service.
Just missed the service.
There's something troubling you, my son. Feel free to talk about it. Castany Brown.
Castany Brown.
58 years old. God is my life's companion.
That's a line.
I give love to those who need it. As part of my work, I teach and give counsel. I was born in Kentucky. I help out with our church youth group.
Yeah, that is quite a hobby, huh?
I was here, of course. I'm sorry that I can't be of any help to you, but I don't know anything.
I'd like that we can ask about the murder mystery book club to the priest.
Come to think of it, yes. The night of the murder, I heard the sound of a car coming from the graveyard. Very unusual at that late hour. I hope it's not related to Bill Robbins' murder.
Interesting. So, not at the church itself, but at the graveyard. So I suspect in that case he's not going to know very much about it. But
Mr. Robbins' funeral was held here. I pray for his soul daily. Mrs. Carrington is a regular churchgoer, but I haven't been able to get to know her. She's a private person. God bless him. He's made donations to this church and many worthwhile charities.
so Edward Robbins is a regular charity goer, is he? It's interesting.
He's a serious young man. I have great admiration for her. She's a strong woman with a heart of gold. He doesn't come to church very often,
But go on, go on. No,
she's the president of the Anemone Club. I've worked with her at a number of functions. He and Kate were married here. Such fine young people. Sorry, I don't know him. Only 6 months after saying her wedding vows here, she was back in this church mourning her husband. It seems so unfair. Oh well, the Lord works in mysterious ways.
That's not really an "ah well" statement.
I've never had a one-on-one conversation with the young man. I've met him on occasion. Pamela, good soul, comes here quite often. Pamela. She was here about a week ago praying for Mr. Robbins' soul. Sorry, I don't know him. No, I don't know her. I've met him. Who? I don't know him.
We didn't get much useful info, but I do think... Go other place, you are already there. Yeah. We did get some information about the graveyard. Here we are, the Downshill Cemetery. Ooh, I like this background. Cold wind is blowing.
You surprised me.
I'm curious about that name there. FRD Suzuki T. That wouldn't be... Right. Rika Suzuki is the writer of this game. That's cute. Writing yourself into your own game as the...
Wilbur Ford.
In a gravestone is very cute.
I'm 48.
Wilbur Ford, huh?
I teach psychology at Hoolington.
Oh, so you run the club the weird guy's in.
I like taking long walks.
Yeah, this game is a real Ford thing going on, huh, Safenic?
I have a PhD in psychology.
In psychology?
I was born in Washington, D.C. I'm a member of the American Association of Psychology. I was in the psych department study room preparing for a discussion group. There were a lot of people in the room with me who can back up my story. I was in the psych department study room. As they say, there's more to this case than meets the eye.
As they say.
That must have been about 20 years ago. I have a couple of questions I'd love to ask the members of that group.
Oh, that's interesting. What did they do that you're so interested in?
I remember the case. It still hasn't been solved, has it? As they... He was just murdered, right? I read about it in the paper.
What do you know about Ralph?
He's in one of my classes. He's a top-notch student. He just completed an impressive research paper entitled To Commit the Perfect Crime.
Oh, that's not suspicious in the slightest, huh? To commit the perfect crime. Something that an innocent person writes, I think. Hey, Aura!
He was just... That's Ralph's mother. He's the president of the Robbins Trading Company, isn't he? Sorry, I've never met him.
Yeah, Moral Recordings. I think you pass the class if you actually get away with the perfect crime.
I don't know her. I don't know him. I don't know her. I don't know him. Oh, that's Ralph's father. Ralph is one of my students. Yeah, she's one of my students' twin sister. He's
Right, so Ralph, to commit the perfect
the
crime.
medical examiner who performed the autopsy, right? I don't know her. Who? He's the owner of the Hungry Fisherman, I think. I know who she is. She works over at the Hungry Fisherman. I go there for drinks sometimes. I'm sorry, I've never met him. I think he's a writer. I've come across him a couple of times over at the Hungry Fisherman. I don't think he could commit such a big crime. Why? Because he's a wimp, that's why.
Wow, brutal. Just absolutely owned him.
I've never heard that name before.
You're already here, so I am. Well, I may not have found much evidence per se, but there's some interesting stuff there. Going to go back to the hotel and talk to that guy again, because I think at this point
Well,
I have a little more information about this guy.
I haven't done anything. I have nothing to tell the police. For the 10th time, I am just a tourist. Okay, so I did leave the hotel the night of the murder. But I didn't have anything to do with the murder. I just took a walk. I'm telling the truth. Please believe me.
Well, he's insisting still that he's not involved.
I don't know. I read about it in the newspaper. A man got killed, right?
And he's still claiming not to know Bill, even though we have some testimony from other people that he does.
I don't. I do not know anybody in town.
You keep saying that, but you've talked to Bill. We know it.
Mr. Robbins came here on occasion. In fact, he had reservations for the night.
Right, so you don't know much about him except that he had reservations.
I know him. He has been staying here for the past 3 weeks. I don't know him.
Alright. Let's move on for a little bit and find another place to hit. I think at this point we've probably filled out most of the list of people, maybe even in the entire list. Don't know for sure. Right, the parking lot and the police station are the only spots left. Right, this is the parking lot that they just recently finished.
I need to see your ticket, sir. What is it? Gail Lyman.
Gail Lyman.
I'm a parking lot attendant for the Robbins Trading Company. I jog every morning. Rain or shine, I never miss a day. You satisfied? None in particular. I was born in Philadelphia. None. I've never met Bill Robbins, but I hear he was a tyrant. You quote me on that, and I'll deny it.
That's fair. But yeah, makes sense. It seems like people who are not rich people had reasons not to like Bill.
Sorry, I don't know him. I don't know her.
What about...
It's still missing.
Right, the car was stolen from this lot. I forgot about that. That is a useful detail, and yeah, it's still gone.
Don't go saying I told you this. Bill Robbins was a cutthroat businessman. Made a lot of enemies. Matter of fact,
He and the real estate agent had a nasty argument a couple of days before Mr. Robbins was killed.
Interesting. Which real estate agent is that?
Finished my shift at 8 o'clock, changed clothes, and went home. What can I tell you? I lead a dull life. I don't know anything about it. I don't know her. He's the president. Hey, we don't hang out. That's all I can tell you. I don't know him. I don't know her. I don't know him. I don't know any of these people. This is a waste of time.
Brutal but fair. Don't know any of these people.
I don't know her. I don't know him. He's a real estate agent who sold to Robbins Trading Company this parking lot.
Oh, interesting. Okay, so Joe Carrington, in other words, his father-in-law, sold the Robbins Company the parking lot, and Joe was spotted here arguing with him a couple nights before the murder. I think we need to have a chat with Joe.
I don't know her. I don't know him. I don't know him. I don't know her. Can we stop this already? Who? I don't know him. I don't know her. Come on, I told you I don't know these people.
I love how many lines they have for not knowing people.
I don't know him. Sorry, I don't know him.
Yeah, Aura, they seem to have recorded a unique take for every line, even when the text is the same, which is something I don't see a lot of games doing then or now, honestly. Right, the Home Estate Agency. That is the one. The real estate firm he works at. This is, I think, the last location we haven't been to yet. At least the last one that's currently on here. Oh man, this portrait. A little more stylized than some of the other ones.
What do you want with me, Inspector? Joe Carrington.
Okay, so that's Joe.
I'm 52 years old. I work in real estate. I read mystery.
Ah, mystery fan. Okay, we're gonna ask you about Mystery Man then.
I'm a certified real estate appraiser. I was born in Philadelphia and lived in Boston for a while. I moved here 5 years ago. I don't like groups. I don't belong to any club. I don't drive.
You don't drive. Fair enough.
It's going fairly well. Thank you. That night I was supposed to meet a customer here, but the person didn't show up. I waited until 10 o'clock and then gave up and went home. Now that you mention it, yes. I did see Mr. Holding when I was leaving work that day. He was in a big hurry.
Interesting.
What? I haven't the faintest idea. Martha is my second wife. My first wife died of heart disease. The children are Martha's by her first husband. But that's not a problem. I love them like my own.
But that's not a problem. Very interesting wording.
He was a selfish man. I hate to say this about my daughter's husband, but he had it coming.
Note that he refers to him as daughter's husband, not, son-in-law.
She's a treasure. She takes very good care of me and the kid. I can't stand arrogant like him.
Wow! Okay, so we've got a second bleeped out line. It's not the only time it's happened. I love that the bleeped out lines are not in the script, which really makes it seem like it was some kind of ad-lib in the recording studio.
I don't know him very well. I've never spoken to her. I hear that things have been hard for the HH Company since larger competitors have moved to the area. I've never met her. Well, I don't know her. I was opposed to their marriage from the start. Janet was mesmerized by that sweet-talking SOB. He just wouldn't listen to reason.
Wow. Yeah, okay, so he really doesn't like Bill.
He's at a difficult age. Still, I think we have a good relationship. He tells me everything.
Right, so we asked about Ralph.
Fortunately, I'm a very healthy man. I haven't been to a doctor in years. I've only met her a couple of times. I don't know anyone by that name.
Don't know Shelley, okay.
I don't know her. I don't know her. I've never had any contact with him. No, I don't know him. I don't know him. I've never met him.
Wait, didn't you say...
I read mystery.
And you've never heard of our failing mystery author, huh? Fair enough. Alright, I think I've fully asked all the questions I can right now. There's no one else around. Oh, well, I'm afraid that I need to head off. This has been a fun couple of hours here, though, and I'm planning to continue streaming this again soon. I'll pick this back up and we can continue from here. So I'm going to pop over to the police here.
Well, hang in there.
Thanks, Catherine. Go save our game. Enjoy the nice, calming ambiance while we take care of leaving off here. Thank you for coming by, Jeb. This has been fun, and I'm glad people are enjoying it. I'm enjoying the game, and I'm looking forward to doing some more of this.